Well, we're in new territory now. The fast forwarding is going to stop. At least for a while. I can't help hoping for a good long while, due to things being interesting around us here. But it's just as likely to be because this new area bogs us down more than the actual bog did. Why am I even attacking the Resbits in this room? Hell, why is it that I completely memorize the name of these PS1 rejects in a GameCube game when I generally don't bother memorizing the names of the other commonly recurring enemies in Metroid? There are plenty of bosses in this franchise I have forgotten the names of, even if the bosses themselves were rather memorable when we saw them. It's probably a bad thing that a random enemy type just has so much more of an impact for me than the actual main hostile force in this game. Especially since the damn thing looks pretty unique in this series, while the Ing just feel like a discount X from Fusion. Clearly at least partially inspired by a monster from later in the timeline that was released close to the release of the previous Metroid Prime, but not really allowed to overshadow the X, so they end up half-baked. Speaking of Metroid Fusion, I can't help feeling a bit annoyed that Dark Samus revealed herself to us in the previous sector to essentially say, "I'm not dead yet, bitch," then just disappeared and has done absolutely nothing since then. Dark Samus is one of the most interesting things in this game, and while the execution of her could have been better, the fact is that the game could have been better in several categories for me. She is still a highlight, and is distinct enough from the SAX that she has a good amount of momentum going for her, even if this game has yet to really make me feel she's an especially terrifying threat considering the stuff we usually deal with in this franchise. I've said this before in other franchises, and I'll say it again here. Being a veteran means it's harder for you to be impressed, and after going through this many games in the franchise, it's going to be quite the task for any of the Metroid Prime games to make me feel especially impressed with a specific monster or fresh faction of threats for us here. Anyway, it looks like we can't really use that cannon since that globe thing is blocking the way. Okay, now I'm curious what the point of the cannon is if we're able to climb this high up with that globe still blocking the damn thing. Anyway, we might not be able to get through the yellow door, but the blue one is fair game. Okay, so the basic drone doesn't get any lore entry, and neither does the security bots that are currently deactivated. But every other robot thing in this place does? Hopefully, I didn't have to memorize that safety code for too long, because I do not fully trust my memory in this game. Seriously, I can remember detail on how to beat an annoying enemy type, but have no clue where to go next or how to get there? The worst part is, I can't really think how I could possibly improve my morale in that particular area. Well, at least my short-term memory isn't too bad. That's worth something. Time to roll out and see what we can find. Right, another of those deactivated security bots. There is absolutely no way they're gonna stay deactivated, which means we're probably gonna have to scan them again later. Kind of wish they got the whole recorded to logbook thing when we scanned them the first time, but I suppose Samus doesn't feel it's important enough to record information on something that isn't active right now. Right, so that thing can just casually rip through parts of the terrain when it does the spin attack. Remind me again why this pinballing spider mech isn't considered important enough to give a health bar, because it is most definitely more annoying to deal with than the lizards we had to shoot in the tail, and those bastards were damaged sponges as well. And they somehow felt more annoying than the boss version of themselves. Well, at least they bounce off some bits of terrain, not tearing through absolutely everything. Wait, so the previous one we killed with bombs between the legs after destroying the head, this one we had to use the speed booster on it? Am I misremembering something about our first fight against one of these things when it happened at the end of the previous clip? Somehow doubt we're gonna be able to read that lore entry through the energy field. Let's see if we can find a way to deactivate those at some point, though I have the distinct feeling the moment we deactivate those, the menacingly large security bots are going to activate in response. It's not really we've got any choice in the matter, though. Okay, some slight terrain changes between worlds here. And we've got a key at the end of a spider ball track. Son of a bitch. Well, I knew that eventually we'd have to deal with a spider ball boss, and apparently this third sector of the game is where we're gonna run into the bastard. I suppose I'm gonna have a chance to take my break from this game either in the next clip or the one after that. I suppose it depends on if I decide to do so as I get my ass kicked, or when I beat the damn thing. Very likely using cheats to do so. I'm sorry to say that looking at the Ing with the dark visor doesn't make them seem any more interesting to me. Oh, come on! I shot that little ghostly mist in the center there! Why the hell did the healing field disappear on me right then and there? I know, it's not especially important, but again, this game has gotten me a bit irritable right now. Well, at least blasting the odd-looking containers has given me more time to heal. I was kind of hoping to completely top off our light energy, but I suppose borderline full will have to do. I didn't have to step anywhere. The hologram was right under our feet from the start. I suppose that's healed enough for now. Apparently, we've already scanned those kinds of bat creatures. I was kind of hoping they were something new, and good God, what an annoying way to slow us down, just circling painfully close to the grapple point we need to use, the move. Is it just me, or did they put more thought into changing the terrain in this sector than they did with the previous two major areas we've gone through in both the light and dark versions of the world? Here's hoping those won't respawn, but I somehow doubt this game is going to give us that much mercy. I suppose that's part of what the fast-forward button on my video editor is for. If those things weren't all that threatening to us the first time we fought them, why the hell are they being thrown at us in this part of the game with no changes whatsoever when we're so much more capable now? Anyway, a sonic door system, and it's not like we've got a sonic weapon or anything else like that. That is probably gonna be annoying as hell. So we need to be in the light version of the world to be able to turn off the force field that's affecting part of the dark realm, and said force field leads us to a portal. At least I think that's how it's going here. Well, this area is already doing a good job of slowing us down in annoying ways. It's not a surprise given how padded out the rest of the game has been, but can you blame me for hoping we'd be able to make smooth progress for longer before running into some rather annoying roadblocks? Oh, you've gotta be kidding me. The bats respawn when we haven't even left the room yet. I'd ask if they have absolutely no self-preservation instinct, but then none of the creatures we run into in the Metroid franchise seem to have one anyway. Hell, most games I go through, period. Nobody seems to run at all. It's always either inconvenience or outright try to kill the main character, no matter the cost, regardless of if you're part of a hive mind or not. Right. Time to kill this thing again. Not like he was any trouble the first time. He literally just stood there and took it. Anyway, I'm fast-forwarding again since I can't see how we're supposed to move on from here right now. I'm sure we aren't completely trapped, but clearly I'm not looking in the right spot the right way or something. Just what the hell am I missing here? Right. Too much to hope that I could regain some light energy on the bats in here. And we can't backtrack because we need the spider ball to go back up to the previous door. Not even sure why I bothered to try to jump on the top of the tube that has a portal inside. Even if I managed to stand there, it's not like it would have gained us anything as far as I can see. But then that's the main problem then, isn't it? That whatever is the actual way forward is something I haven't seen yet. I'd probably have to use the dark visor to actually notice it, but that still doesn't tell me where it is. Ah well. One of the issues with exploring, sometimes you find yourself stuck until you discover the right path. I just wish there was a way to deal with things that, like that without getting too damn annoyed while doing it. Unfortunately, fast-forwarding just isn't cutting it for me at this point, and outright cutting footage until I find the way forward makes me feel like an ass. Aha! Now I see it. Bloody hell. At least the multi-missile and dark visor combo is getting some decent exercise around here at this part of the game. But then it's not like the visor would get all that much use outside of puzzle solving and platforming around here anyway. Hell, I wasn't much of a fan of the visor modes in the first Metroid Prime, and I'm hoping when we get to Prime 3 that we won't see any of this sort of thing there. I don't remember anything about there being any different visor modes in the next game, but again, I can't really rely on memory to get us through these situations. Sometimes I remember something that really speeds us along. Other times I remember little to nothing at all, so it's like I'm going through blind. Right. The other enemy type that was only vulnerable to the electrical weapon back in the first game that they reused and made more vulnerable to this one. Wonder why it took so long to run into that particular enemy again. It's not like the game is treating it like a mid to late game enemy here. Same with the little critters that grab us when we ball into them and they toss us into an annoying direction. Those were kind of introduced early on in the previous game. While we needed a specific weapon to deal with both of those things, they weren't all that scary, really. Dear God, it's not hard for me to find things to take issue with this far into the game. From the lore, to how and when they introduce things, to the level design, to the occasional bit of gameplay mechanics. Did my standards just grow too damn high for the game after the first Metroid Prime? Is this my standards feeling too high because I've LP'd all the 2D Metroid games out at this point before starting the 3D part of the franchise? Seriously, just what is going on here? Granted, it's not like Metroid Prime 2 is looked at as fondly as the first one. Hell, Prime 3 has a number of detractors as well, with plenty of good reason for that. But after a certain point, it's impossible not to feel like an ass as I'm bitching around here. Especially when I know there are far worse games in a lot of forms of measurement, some of which I unironically enjoy more than this one. Especially since we've gotten this far in, and the padding just keeps on happening, and the next bullshit boss is coming soon. A boss that I have absolutely no fun dealing with, and that as a kid made me want to return this game immediately. Since the previous major pain in the ass, the Speed Boost Guardian, at least had a way for us to take his health bar down faster than our most basic attack. I just really don't want to talk about that boss extensively too early, since that will give me something to talk about when we deal with the damn thing. But at the moment, it's not like there's all that much else worth talking about right now. It's not like dealing with this bit of security is going to feel any more interesting than the previous bits of security we've gotten through in this sector of the planet so far. We're probably going to have to scan something to see what order of colors we're supposed to bomb this time to open the way. Just like the last time we saw those large spinning electrical things. Sonic detection gear, which means we're gonna gain another visor on top of being able to use the power bomb and spider ball soon. And we can't scan that thing behind the wheel there. Guess we're coming back at a later time. Okay, moving around in this room is gonna be a bit of a pain, but then moving across most of this planet has been a pain. And this far into the game, I'm having a hard time giving a damn about the pain. I just want to get it over with for the sake of getting it over with which probably isn't the emotional state they wanted the player to get to. As a side note, getting into that little hole was a bit more annoying than it should have been due to the constantly shifting camera angle in that room, and it's really not helping my nerves here. I'm kinda hoping when I get to the next clip, I'll have more praise and less to groan about, but I somehow doubt it this far in.